The aim of this presentation is to give you a wider aspect of the relationship to religion in the United States. In regards of the English, it's important to know how the people in America behave through a religious point of view. By the end of this presentation, you will have an understanding of why and when America allowed religious freedom, how important the religion is to the Americans, which religions are most common in the United States, what the religion involvements with politics and media are, how the religion can be used as an instrument of power. America has since 1791 always had a religious freedom, which means that you could belong to any religion you want. The reason why they allow this freely choice is mainly due to all of the immigrants from Europe. 2/3 of the population are members in a church communion. In the United States you are visiting the church every Sunday as often as you can, whereas it is very unusual to go more than a couple of times a year in Sweden. No matter where you live in the United States, you meet in the church and have discussions about your faith and social life. Since such a large number of people are religious, the atheists can't state their point offensively. A sign saying "Imagine no religion" caused much speculation among the Americans. Let's take a look.
An unusual billboard is causing some controversy. Some support the message while others find it offensive. CBS 2's Stacy Butler is live in Rancho Cucamonga to see what the fuss is all about. Stacy.
Paul, the billboard behind me just went up last week. It's part of a nationwide campaign to support the separation of church and state. And already here in Rancho Cucamonga, it's creating quite a stir. We live in a time where just about everybody is looking for a sign.
Imagine no religion.
This isn't exactly the sign most people had in mind. Are you offended by that sign?
Because I am a religious person, yes, I am. Yeah.
Why are you offended?
Because it's freedom of religion.
But it's freedom from religion. This atheist foundation is now advertising in Rancho Cucamonga.
It is offensive to anybody who has any religious belief at all. Just with the vote, yes on 8, no on 8, it shouldn't be up there.
America reaches approximately 173 million Christians, which measures up to about 76% of the United States population. They could further be divided into Protestants and Catholics, which are the majority of the Christian faith. There are about 34 million people who are non-believers, also known as atheists, and about 50% of the total population belongs in this category. The second largest group of believers is the Muslims. There are about 7 million people in the United States, while the Jewish Americans comes at the third place with 2.8 million. 58% of all believers in total in the United States prays at least once a day. It's common for the president or other authoritarian people to use Christian religion as an instrument of power. They are manipulating and misleading the inhabitants of the United States, using quotes from the Bible and other religious messages along with the political ones. And all in this because they know that the American people have certain traditions and are searching for a religious meaning. By taking this into thought and expression, you will probably get your will through. It is quite obvious for those who are criticizing the religious involvements in their speeches, but for all of the American believers, it is harder to see that they are getting manipulated by their belief. Us and them phenomena is seemingly important in this instrument of power. But when the people of the United States is in fear, they are much more controllable, and it is by then that the authoritarian people takes advantage of the situations. During George W. Bush's time as the president, he said that he was convinced that the United States was chosen to rule over the world. He used a lot of civil religion as his instrument of power. By referring to the country's history, he often showed national heroes and presidents who had offered their lives for the United States. The rational usage of civil religion became handy in times of need, like after the 9/11 attacks. The population is so religiously influenced that they question the president for not being a Christian. It seems by the people that the president has to be a Christian to rule over the America. Like an unwritten traditional, the current president has been accused for being a Muslim, which would cause huge speculations and hate. However, here is how the media reacts.
Right now, President Obama hasn't been to church since he took office. Well, how many Sundays have you been counting? 11 Sundays so far. Now he's saying we are not a Christian nation. So is there a message being sent?
I've said before that one of the great strengths of the United States is, although as I mentioned, we have a very large Christian population, we do not consider ourselves a Christian nation or a Jewish nation or a Muslim nation. We consider ourselves a nation of citizens.
All right, so is that a disregard for Christianity?
Concerning that, though, there's a lot of emails going around. It gets rather terrible. A Newsweek poll shows that 12% of America believes that you're a Muslim, and 26% believe you were raised in a Muslim home. A lot of misinformation. How do you fight that?
Well, by getting on Larry King and telling everybody I'm a Christian and I wasn't raised in a Muslim home, and pledge allegiance to the flag, and all the things that have been reported in these emails are completely untrue and have been debunked again and again and again. So all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is. One last point I do want to make about these emails, though, and I think this has an impact on this New Yorker cover. This is actually an insult against Muslim Americans, something that we don't spend a lot of time talking about, and sometimes I've been derelict in pointing that out. There are wonderful Muslim Americans all across the country who are doing wonderful things, and for this to be used as sort of an insult or to raise suspicions about me, I think is unfortunate, and it's not what America's all about.
In this presentation, you have learned about the history for freedom of religion in the United States, what church communion means to people, which the major religions in the United States are, how and why the president and other authoritarian people use Christian language as an instrument of power, how George W. Bush ruled America by civil religion,